As it relates to this whole unidentified object phenomenon, thus some objects thus far unidentified. Um, Actually, we may or may not try to go back to some of our old footage of basically there's this object in the sky that's streaking across. We might try to put it on a continuous loop, zoom in, zoom out, give it context, not trying to spin it or frame it to suggest one thing or the other, but basically maybe experts can further analyze. But if you look at the objects, right, one simple concept, this is, so obvious and simple. Simple materials recover the debris, do a materials analysis. It should become um, pretty much instantly apparent if the materials, the compounds, are not of earthly origin. Um, so if they analyze the debris, it should be very obvious, at least even if you can't determine what country. You can, it should be pretty apparent if it's, if the materials are from Earth. Common sense, right? But we want to switch topics for just a very brief moment. Um, if those things are, um, if they turn out to be of, basically traced to a state actor, again, with the whole Chinese spy balloon incident, one obvious state actor could be um, the People's Republic of China. It, a state actor could be Russia, maybe a different nation, or who knows? Maybe it's not a state actor. The first step would be, is it from Earth? And the rational assumption, the automatic rational assumption, even if you can't identify what it is, it should be safe to assume until proven beyond a reasonable doubt that yeah, it's from Earth. But always open to the possibility that until we get better information, what if it's not from Earth? So if somehow, now if we do a thought experiment, not trying to go down rabbit hole, um, but if you do have all these unknown aerial objects, and assuming they're not from Earth, um, maybe if that turns out to be the case, that's very unlikely. But if that turns out to be the case, the probably that spy balloon um, actually turned out to be a favor if all of a sudden there's a heightened awareness of these objects, especially if they're of non-Earth origin. That's a step, that's a leap too far. But if somehow a a mundane spy balloon has heightened the ability to um, identify potential objects of unknown origin, that would be, if that was the case, that would seem to be more of a blessing than a curse, right? But now, if those things are actually Chinese technology, and it's not presumptuous to rule it out, rule it in or rule it out, because you, again, we discussed those hypersonic space planes that allegedly circled the Earth or something and reached within probably a certain range of the test target or something like that. But um, so if it does turn out to be Chinese technology, that would be pretty interesting. Um, it's hard to see if it was basically from China. Um, Generally, our assumption would be that the defense establishment would be able to quickly um, rule in or rule out if it's a specific state actor, right? But you never know. So it's kind of interesting. This heightened topic kind of would probably, yeah, we might look back at some of our footage and see if we can take a look to see if there's any something potentially interesting. Um, it's like It's not zoomed in on an optical lens, so but it does seem to streak across the sky, and it's not really like, basically the light trick where basically if you have like an object like the sun, and basically what you see on what you see is not always what you get on film. Well, it's not film, a small digital sensor. So light plays tricks. So an object that looks like it's streaking across the sky, that may or may not just be um, an effect of the camera of the device. But we're gonna see if we can take a look, and uh, you know people can come to their own conclusions.